And so then that's their, I've added to the bottom of that neurological safety, like some somatic work to bring to the person's attention. And then there's some tools. And then I kind of build this into like using that conflict area. I try to call it like, how do we teach healthy conflict? Because that seems to be the place that we're at, is that if either we agree and we can be friends, or if we have any disagreement, now it's freaking war. You're a bad person. Your very identity is tied to the fact that you can't agree to me. I am absolutely correct. And there's like nowhere in the middle can we even stop to recognize, can we agree? And then we tend to try to skewer each other with the words. Like, well, no, that's what you said, so that must be what you meant. As opposed to giving people the opportunity to kind of like get on firm footing and say, well, maybe the way you brought it to my attention, maybe I don't necessarily agree that. Right. May I switch it to this way? Like this is closer to how I feel, you know? What other, this is such a good conversation, you know, like who's talking, I'm not running into these conversations, you know, people aren't able to have this conversation. Right. What else on this particular subject are you seeing after 30 years? Like what, there's no way that I know more about this than you do. So I just want to get some of your stuff out here. Where are we going? What seems to be successful?
Yeah. Well, I think what's successful is that, and this is countrywide, that these conversations are happening. Right. You know, what we anticipated Friday, and this is going on all over the country now. The National Fatherhood Initiative, which is a national organization out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, they've been around for many, many years. And they put out a lot of research material, a lot of training packages. You met Bill and Nate Friday. They do My Brother's Keepers program here.
Are you familiar with the Fatherhood Foundation of Virginia?
Fatherhood, yeah, that's Chris.
Chris Beach.
Chris Beach. Chris, man, I know Chris for many years. He's doing some great stuff, what he's doing here. So I've always tried to, people who want to do this work, they can't be solo. They have to connect themselves with other folks who are doing similar work, because there's unity, there's strength if we could all be in the same camp, be together, support each other. That's why I show up when I get an invite to go to stuff. I go because I'm going to meet somebody I don't know that I need to know, and I think that's how we can sustain.
That's how it works.
And build that strength. That's community-wide, you see? And I think people who remain isolated, they can't sustain that because they won't connect with other folks that have likeness of what they're trying to do for the community as a whole. But when we can unite together, we can support each other together. You can still have your program doing your thing, but we still should all be in a similar objective of what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, like it's more strength together than just as individuals.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the beautiful things that we can do. Just like you gave me this invitation to come, I knew that there would be some things we would talk about that I've been down before, that I've heard before. That it's so interesting when you talk about just this whole socialization process of boys and men. It kind of stays in that same area, because we all need to know how we can just change some of the things that we allow our boys to start experiencing at such an early age. One of the biggest problems we have in America today, and I am hoping that I've been in these conversations with Dan. I call him Danny, the new mayor for the city. We go way back. We go way back when he was practicing medical work at the health department years ago. Then he became the commissioner of social services. So he knew all the stuff that I was doing. That myself and a couple other fellas a couple years ago started to focus on this group that gets totally neglected, and that is teenage fathers.